Good afternoon and welcome to this week's typical Thursday webinar. First of all, our apologies for the small miscommunication when we planned the webinar actually. So the timing also for future webinars is that always we will do them at 12 o'clock Central European time. So important to keep that in mind, I think, so you don't have to be earlier on board than at that time. So first, again, like in previous weeks, a small presentation and then time for potentially answering some of the questions you may have. So this is already the 13th session, as you may be aware. So let us start with some agenda. The agenda is some feedback, first of all, from the board meeting we just had. So this morning at 10 o'clock we had our weekly board meeting, board meeting from the program, where all representatives from the different universities are present, as well as your two student representatives, Julia and Lise, for respectively the second and the first year student cohorts. First update, maybe we closed the last round of applications early this week, and these are now being evaluated. So in total there are another 31 applications actually that are eligible, and so now the evaluation board is reviewing them, and next week we will have an outcome on who exactly can now start in the program. Why do I mention this? Because this has actually quite a strong impact also on potential decisions by people that are currently in the first year to take a break here, because it will in a way also depend on the mobilities that these applicants want, also to see, okay, what potential availability there will be for the next coming year for those people that want potentially to take a break here. Yeah. One of the things, we had a very long discussion actually on the situation for the third semester and how to react on that, and what happens, for example, because we get quite a lot of questions from students. Okay, can I change my location, my university? Can I change tracks, etc., etc.? So for the moment, the point is that right now there is no procedure available, also no legal context available for you to change tracks. Change tracks, specializations on itself, because your specialization that you have chosen has a very strong impact on your diploma, and we don't want to end up in a situation where your final diploma is not accredited or not a legal diploma that we award. So one of the things to avoid that, we get several emails from people with strange questions in it. We actually want to set up a formal procedure, not only related to this current situation, but in general for people, where if people want to ask the board to look at their file, for example, and to make a change to a certain situation that they're dealing with, that we set up a formal procedure for doing this. In the sense that you will be able, following this procedure, to ask potentially for changes in your study situation, and then we take these on the board meetings, and it's then the board that will decide to make a decision in each of these procedures. An element there is that proof of certain things will be required, and of course it's also decisions that will be taken by the board, while we're now often in a situation where the coordination office has to act on this. So that's something we decided in this board meeting. Of course we will inform you as soon as we have these procedures set up. Of course we will inform you about for which you can use them, and etc., etc. Another element that we decided also is that July the 3rd will be the deadline for deciding on a break year, because next week, end of next week, we will have a view on the mobility options that there will be. So you will have or you have already information about the different scenarios at the different universities, and there we pointed out again to the different third year semesters, for example, third semester universities, excuse me, is that they really have to also think on scenarios for the case that, for example, in case there are lockdowns again, what do they have on offer, so you can make well-profounded decisions there. Just moving people around to alternatives and to from their original choice will not be the default option. So it will remain case by case and following certain formal procedures as well. So by July the 3rd or by early the week after, we will not take final decisions also on the mobilities of people, because we really want to, as mentioned before as well, we want to look into the total procedure, the total situation before making other decisions. So that's a bit of a reflection of some of the things that we discussed during the past board meeting. Other things are covered as well in the next few slides. That's, for example, another element that was briefly discussed, is that you were asked by a team of people that are actually planning for an alternative setup of the symposium, what your opinions are on those. So a vast majority wants to participate in an official symposium organized by a program, which is great news, and which is not unexpected, I think. But to set up an alternative format, actually we were also looking and questioning ourselves, okay, how could this be, for example, be done in connection to an online, another conference, an existing conference, or connected, for example, to an alumni event. And there again, the majority of people, around 70% actually, pointed out that this alumni event could actually be quite an interesting alternative. So in that sense, I think it's a good suggestion. It's a first suggestion, and from now on we can actually see what is the feasibility and how this could potentially be organized. The best moment to organize it would be May, June 2021, and so we will start looking into this to make this more concrete also, and to see what could be done there. If we talk about alumni, we're actually talking about the alumni also dating back to the IMBRSea program. So it's kind of people that have graduated since 2009, 2010. So it's 10 years of cohorts. We're talking in total a cohort of like 600 people that have graduated from our master program. Good. A few words on the professional practice exhibition. As you may know, we have set up a new page on our website, which is the IMBRSea Online Symposium, so diving into Marine Minds 2020, where you will find some information for thesis presentations, but also informations about the exhibition, the professional practice exhibition. So the Google site there, it's described again, and as soon as we have there also a full view on the schedules, for example, we will use this page to post these things on. You will of course also be informed by alternative media, for example, these webinars, as long as they continue, for example, will be alternative means to communicate about this as well. But have a look on this platform. At the same time, also the request related to the professional practices, really if you ask for updates on your portfolios, for example, please update them as well. And if you start then writing also your reports, it could be good also to really read again the guidelines to make sure that things are clear there. For the remote professional practice, those that are in an official remote professional practice, the introduction says that you have to use proof also from activity 2 of your portfolio. Of course, this will not be possible because you had not to do this, but still you can write an introduction, I think, and you can introduce the work that you have done. So that should be no problem for. So all things to the report can be are still valid in that sense. Yeah. There were quite some questions that came in also this week on the thesis because the deadline is approaching. First thing is on the presentations, who, when, what. The schedule will be published after we have a final view on who actually submitted. And that's maybe not an important element there, is that so you had to indicate already whether you were planning to submit or not. Yeah, we're using that information actually to plan the symposium and to have a bit enough an idea, okay, what can we expect. Of course, we are aware that some people might potentially only submit their or get in trouble, for example, really in the last weeks, and only submit then in August, while they're indicated to submit originally in June. Do you have to update the information on the website, for example? No. Yeah. So the 15th of June, 4 p.m. in the afternoon, sharp, Central European time, is the deadline. So everything that is not submitted by then is automatically considered as a submission for August. Yeah. So you do not have to update or keep us updated. So for the moment, we use the indications that you have provided us there. We also get questions on raw data, because people start reading all of a sudden again the thesis guidelines, which are already for a while on the websites, and which have especially related to the raw data submission, which have not been changed. So what do we mean by raw data? It means that we ask you, and this is a good practice in general that has been developed over the past years, to submit a version of your raw data, yeah, as far as possible. Yeah. And what is the aim of that? We archive this raw data. Yeah, so it's just a good practice. Also in your that's also why in the online course, for example, we elaborated quite a lot on metadata and data. So in case, how can you submit? You can just in your thesis add some annexes, for example, annex tables with all the data, so people can check if they read your thesis, for example, that what you are commenting on, that's indeed true based on the actual data tables. Or you can also make a link to a folder on your Google Drive. That's also perfectly possible. Yeah. Or in case the things are confidential, if your thesis promoter says, okay, we cannot share this data, then at least you have to share the metadata. Yeah, and you know what metadata is by now. Yeah, about the data, and also where the data can be retrieved. So then you just make and submit a document where it's clearly indicated, look, this data is available, yeah, that's the documentation about this data, and that's how we can find it. This may be a surprise for some people. On the other hand, I think it's already 2 years that these thesis guidelines are there, and before you start a thesis, it's always good that you read these guidelines just to make sure that you know what you're preparing for. Yeah. Another element is the size of the thesis, that we get questions about it. How many pages does it have to be? How big can it be in terms of megabytes? I don't think there is a big restriction on the megabytes. Also on the pages, we do not give clear guidelines. We just say that it has to be preferably in the format of a written publication, and we give the outline there. We even get questions, can I combine my material and methods and my results, or my results and my discussion? Of course you can, although you have there the guidelines for you, and that's also the guidelines that your evaluators will get. So we do not recommend you to start altering this structure, because it will confuse also your evaluators. So stick to the structure, because it will also make it easier for evaluators to really evaluate the different sections, and you will not be punished on that. Number of pages, are there restrictions? No. Every year we have theses ranging from 20 pages sometimes to 100 pages. So everything is possible in that sense, but we really ask you to just follow the guidelines, what is there, and if there's no clear indication on this is the limit, for example, then you have the option to actually alter and to interpret like you wish. A few updates on the online first semester maybe. The call for student jobs has ended, and we are evaluating, and to a big chunk of students we also sent now a second request. So these are the students that were retained after evaluating the evaluations. The students that did not receive such a thing means that you will probably were not selected for the during the first selection round, but you will get an email about this also in the coming days. Yeah, first meetings are being organized. So for 5 of the courses, we had now the course advisor teams being set up, and I must say that this goes quite smooth so far. Yeah. There were also some questions about the marine training payments by IMBRSea Eric. Yeah, so we sent early May, about 1 month ago, we sent already the request for payment, but there was some hazards that they wanted to have formal contracts, etc., and IBAN codes for, you submitted IBAN, but then they wanted also the big codes. So in theory, everything that they have now is okay, and they promised us to do the payment. So for sure, the payments will happen, but these things are quite out of our hands now. I expect also for the second round of the payments, for example, end of August, these things will go smoother because they are used now to the whole procedure behind it. Yeah, good. Time for questions. So I will move to the chat box now to see actually whether there are any questions that are coming in. Yeah. First question about the thesis format: can we present it as a paper, or we should present it classical way, maybe due to formal requirements from UGANT? The question is very easy to answer. Read the thesis guidelines, yeah, and it really sets there how you have to present it. The structure is there, and it's a bit as a paper. Indeed, that's the structure that we reflect, is a bit the structure of a paper, but really read and follow the thesis guidelines. It also shows you what the evaluation criteria are, what people have to judge on. So take this into account and follow that information. Yeah. Question from Claudia: do you have any guidelines in how others can cite our professional practice work, or on how, when, where can we publish? Right now, not really guidelines on that. On the other hand, there is, and we send out also a message about that to everyone. If you produce things during your professional practice, yeah, or during your thesis, whatever kind of products, yeah, there's a very important element. Is first of all, you have to mention also the logo from Erasmus Mundus, from the European Commission, because this program is still a program that is supported by the European Commission. And as well, yeah, you should also indicate the logo of IMBRSea, for example, and make correct reference to our program, because what you do, I know you do the professional practice under the guidance of your local supervisor, but still you do this in the context of a program, a joint program, so making credit and making sure there is correct reference to IMBRSea as a program as well is a minimal condition, I think. Yeah, we've seen, however, products in the past weeks where this was not properly done. So really, I would like to stress on this, that this should be done in a proper way. About other things, maybe it's not bad that we foresee also some elements of elements to just make sure that you have the proper statements on how to make correct reference to the program. So Claudia, we will follow up that element. Question from Ambre: is there a limit on the time needed to go through our website, like a maximum duration for video, etc.? Yeah. No. Yeah, there's no limit. On the other hand, you should see it, consider it as a tool that replaces a normal exhibition. So don't expect people to watch 30 minutes of video, because simply they will not do it. Yeah, make sure it's attractive, it's short to the point. That would be my advice, and that if people really want to know more, then they can, of course, get further on that as well. Yeah. Question about Madalena, regarding the UGent Mobility Scholarship third semester. If the status is approved, what should we do next? Is there a procedure to follow? I expect that regarding the mobility scholarships, honestly, these are things we do not control, as we mentioned already before as well. This is the faculty board, so I expect that they will contact you as well with guidelines on what the next step are. So for the moment, that's the only information I can give on that one. Ambre, what do you mean when you say that we will have to fight to get the attention of people for our website? Yeah, maybe that's a bit double phrasing. The only thing we want to say there is that we want you to be creative, and we want to encourage you to make an attractive website. Just as in a normal exhibition, people will have the total view of what is available there. And in a normal exhibition, we also you're attracted to one thing or to another thing by just making sure the way you show your elements are there. So the fight, with just encouraging you to be creative in what you produce. Bianca, good morning. About the address to send a hard copy of the documents is the UFO Building, St. Peter's, Nieuwstraat 33, 9000 Ghent. Thank you. I think that's a question from for a new student. And the information you received, normally the information is there, so you can send indeed the information to the UFO or to the contact email address, to the contact address of IMBRSea Secretariat. So that's quite easy to follow there, to find on our website as well. Thank you. I understand and follow the structure, but I want to ask about the presentation visually of the thesis. There's no guidelines on the thesis presentation on how it should look like, so it's really up to you. There's no guidelines, so you can present it at regular pages. You can add columns if you really want this. So there's really, you're free on this. Is there a word limit on the abstract for the thesis proposal? No, there's no word limit. If there's not a word limit indicated, then there is no word limit. Unless I'm wrong, but I don't receive anything on the chat here. The chat I have also with the coordination office. Other questions? Hi Tim, I haven't heard from the R statistics course anymore. Are you still planning to activate it? Bianca, I don't know what you mean by this, but the R working group, if you're talking about this one, the R working group is active and has had several meetings already, and so they are now preparing the materials, and actually the aim is to launch a prep course for R by the end of June, so new students can actually enroll already to that prep course by the end of June. Of course, we're still also developing other materials for the first semester, but the R working group is active and is working. If you want to know more about the R working group, maybe it's better than to connect to Ulrike Braakman, who is taking the lead in that R working group. If needed, you can send us an email and we can inform you on that. Will we have to be available for the direct chat on our website for the 2 full days of the symposium? This is a question which is coming back every week. And as mentioned, we're organizing these things right now. The idea is to give you the opportunity, to have a chat or even a live meeting. But from a technical point of view, I can assure you these are not the easiest things. And before we communicate something clearly in the end, we just want to make sure that from a technical point of view, we do not have to change our minds. So as soon as we have final details about this, we will present to you. The idea would indeed be just to make sure that you can also discuss with potentially interested people, that we will foresee also in a chat box, for example, so evaluators or the public at large can interact with you as well when they look at your results. It will not be for the full 2 days of the symposium. No, we will organize sessions just to make sure you do not have to be present constantly and waiting for a chat message coming in. Yeah. More questions? I don't see more questions coming in, so I think we managed to answer most of them. However, I'm discussing a possible thesis project with a researcher, but I don't know how long it will take to clarify the details. Should I do the abstract with a raw idea, even if it changes afterwards? Answer is very simple, yes, because you have to submit a thesis project. That's what we also indicated in previous webinars, is that yes, what you have, you will have to submit, at least that we can evaluate what you're planning to do and give advice on that. Yeah. Another question about this: I plan to do my thesis with a non-partner institute. The institute have already sent the solicited through Matix. Is there any way to confirm that it has been received? I'm personally not following up the things that are coming in, but normally we check them on a regular basis and provide feedback. So we will check in the coming week, let's say or coming weeks, maybe just after the deadline to submit the thesis projects. Yeah, we will check then on which institutes we should take action. I can assure you that for the moment the work at the coordination office is quite hectic with all different kinds of things and alternative scenarios all together. So it's if we're a bit behind on that one, this is due to that. But they will for sure receive a confirmation. So if they're in the system, in theory, you should be able to indicate them also in the system then for your proposal. So that's the way it normally works. Yeah, indeed, the people from the secretariat or from the coordination office confirm indeed that this is a process which is ongoing now, and that there will be follow-up on this. Yeah. Good. I don't see many more questions coming in, so I hereby would like to close this webinar. Maybe see you next week for the next edition, and hereby wish you all a good day, and see you later, and stay safe. Bye bye.